The recent acquittal of Tejpal of serious charges framed against him, including rape, has exposed the ineffectiveness of the so-called late Parrikar's good administration. I was always on record to say that his administration was more vindictive and more of a bravado than any material and substance in the administration. Now, and why I say this? The court has indicted the investigation so badly that anyone, as reported in various forums, maybe social media, newspapers, though the then Home Minister, the late Parrikar, was directly supervising this case, and he had to, because he is the Home Minister, and he had all the legal luminaries guiding them in this case. The sloppiness that resulted into the acquittal, that credit goes to late Advocate Rajiv Gomes, who in his cross-examination and arguments brought out before the court the biggest blunders, whether it was done intentional or unintentional. The blunders got exposed, that the investigation was done in the most sloppy manner. Unfortunately or sadly, Advocate Rajiv Gomes passed away 1 week prior to the judgment. It is sad that he was not there to see the fruits of his hard work. Now, why do I say this? I will quote, as reported, a part of the judgment which said, the investigating officer has committed omissions and commissions while conducting the investigation in the present case, wherein the IO has done no investigation on crucial and vital aspects of the present case. Now, this case had the glare of the public. One of the reasons was that in 2011, somewhere, when the first Think Fest took place, the same very editor-in-chief at the inaugural address made a very scandalous statement bringing down the image of our state. And therefore, the seriousness when he was charged for this crime had to be taken to its logical conclusion. But that didn't happen. And I will quote what this editor-in-chief who was charged for rape said. Now you are in Goa. Drink as much as you want, eat and sleep with whoever you think of. There was a big uproar in 2011, if you remember, and I still recollect. Our late Father Bismarck had spearheaded and condemned this. There were also activists protesting against it. And Father Bismarck was in his forefront. Now, what is shocking, again brought in all the newspapers, that this missing CCTV footage, who destroyed it? How it got destroyed? How could that, from that floor, be missing? How could officer who lodged the FIR be the investigating officer also? You lodge an FIR and you are only the investigating officer. All this has literally crumbled up the case and bungled it up. Now, was this investigation guided or misguided by sources within the government or sources outside the government manipulated the whole thing? Because these things cannot normally happen. Even an ordinary police constable would know that once he lodges an FIR, he can't be the IO. But the statement that has come on record that the IO was directed by the higher ups, that since there is no other lady, you go ahead with the investigation. But no such mention is mentioned in the diaries which is supposed to be mentioned, and that has come out in the course of the judgment. Now, with this acquittal, it is my opinion, and I have spoken to many, the confidence of women is totally shaken. With such scenarios, when the entire government machinery is focused to see that this goes to its logical conclusion and it fails, can a woman have the confidence to enter into a police station and lodge a complaint to say that I have been assaulted sexually? Will she got confidence that the matter will be taken up seriously, especially by the officers who are sitting there to take up we know so many matters. There are complaints that after having lodged complaints, no action is being taken. So what is this government trying to do? It has passed a message, or a message has gone across, that more of bravado, more of publicity, more of show-off than any proper administration. I repeat, I am on record to say that then Home Minister, late Manohar Parrikar's administration, was the most inefficient. It was an administration known to play vindictive politics. Even here, there were charges that there were vindictiveness. But keep that aside. Otherwise also he has been known to be vindictive and to put up a big bravado that he knows it all. And he has messed up, including the state of Goa. Till today, Goa is suffering. There is a part of his role in this. Now, the present Chief Minister has seen the scenario, has understood the scenario, and immediately he has ordered that the matter should go in appeal. And he said it, that I will not allow, when women are hurt, to go off scot-free. But the question is, you may have a lot of desires. There is a system, there is a law in place, there are procedures. The question is, how strong is your appeal? It shows it's very weak, because the AG of Goa appears to have put his hands up. Therefore, the Additional Solicitor General from Delhi has been flown down at government cost. State money is being spent. Fair enough, but spent for what? At an admission stage of the appeal, which is now postponed. Let us watch. So another 10 years. In the meantime, whether the accused will be there, the ex-accused at least will have to say now. What will be the trauma on the victim? Why? Because, in fact, she was dragged into the whole thing to come forward to make the complaint official. And today, this is her fate. Therefore, it will be difficult for people to come forward. Now, very shocking to me and to many who are questioning the muteness and the silence of all the so-called opposition leaders that are in Goa today. It's absolutely deafening, the silence. When on the other side, the confidence of the women are shaken. Neither the government has managed to nail the culprit, nor the opposition is wanting to know how this culprit went free. Or the accused, whatever the word is used. Now, why the silence? I've spoken to many. Some have asked me, when you see the faces of this opposition, do you not feel that they are all related to each other? I said, I don't know. Some have asked me, do they don't belong to the same sect or following the same faith? I was confused. Were these same faces not partners in looting the state resources when he was the chief minister and home minister? Were not the same persons who allowed the administration to run from the ICU and loot, make little noises, loot? The late Manohar Parrikar was literally dragged out from the ICU to come onto the Mandovi bridge for inspection in an extremely sorry and weakened state. And this was done as my matter was pending before the High Court. In fact, the verdict in my matter was waiting to the High Court. His existence was shown in a very weakened and sorry state. So, this is how our state is functioning. Administration has failed and opposition is silent. I am only showing you the photographs where he presented himself on the bridge.